Hello, it's David from David's Avery Electrical Services Limited, and welcome to New Toy Tuesdays, an occasional slot where blah blah etc etc. Last week I attended CEF Live at the NEC. Incidentally, my thanks to those of you also in attendance who stopped me to pass on your positive feedback about these YouTube ramblings of mine. I do sometimes lose enthusiasm for making these videos, so it's great to get that encouragement. My thanks too to all those in attendance who think I'm a ruddy prick, but have the decency not to tell me so to my face. I appreciate that, folks. Anyway, after dropping off my TIS MFT Pro for free calibration and visiting Gordon's gang at the eFix brand studio, I came across the Nanoleaf stand where these fantastic LED panels were on display. And let me tell you, if it glows or flashes, then I'm the kind of chap who will put his hand in his pocket to place a firm grip on my flexible friend. Why, I might even pull out my credit card while I'm down there. But these things look fantastic, so I had to have them, and the discounted show special price of £99 plus VAT for the starter packs was pretty impressive, seeing as on Amazon currently you're looking at £180 to £190 all in, so that's a good 60 quid plus of savings. It's no wonder they quickly ran out of stock on the first day. I bought 2 and the guy next to me was buying 5 or 6 packs, sporting, as he was, a bigger bone on for these things than even I could muster. As an impulse purchase, I had no idea what I was going to do with them. After all, I already have RGB LED lighting throughout my living room, dining room and kitchen, shown here in headache-inducing disco mode, just so you can appreciate the full-on RGB of the thing. The wife's like, "What the fuck have you bought more colour-changing lights for, you tedious arsehole? You better rip them all out when I divorce you." Yeah, right, you wish, dear. You better shack it with another electrician when you kick me out, or you'll have no chance of figuring out what the hell I've done to this house. I have 2 Nanoleaf products to show you today. The first is the Nanoleaf Canvas, which is the square version of this product. What we have here are these square panels with these connection points at the rear and these connection strips, which are 3-pole by the looks of it, so I guess that's positive, negative and some kind of serial communication that talks between them. And by inserting these strip into a point on the panel, we can connect 2 or more panels together. There we go, we've got this rather nice artistic design layout that I've put together. Very nice too. Let's kill the overhead lights, shall we? The panel on the end here, which the power supply connects to, has some controls on it. I haven't removed the sticker yet, which explains what they are. Let's just grab the hoofer doofer and zoom in here a little. There we go, that's better. There are a number of touch controls on this panel, and if I press the power button, we can see the whole thing lights up. From the controls I can switch it to sound activated mode, or I can select the next pattern. I can also adjust the brightness too. Let's do a pattern switch, shall we? Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? I believe that pattern is called Tron Legacy. That's not one which came by default with this thing, but it was a downloadable pattern, so we'll have a look at the software in a moment. Let's do another pattern switch, shall we? See what comes next. It's an orangey pattern, I believe. Maybe the Flames one, which has this sort of glowing orange effects. Very relaxing. These are touch sensitive, incidentally, these square panels, and if you press the middle of a panel, it does have it does change the light slightly. It is a very subtle change of effect for the most part, but nevertheless it is there on the square canvas version of this product. This touch control might be good if you're building, say, a sensory room or something like that. Something where you can flick through. I've seen that one already. Let's flick through and interact with the panels in a certain way. This one, this effect here, I think it's called Starlight or Moonlight or something. It's quite a subtle one. This one, a sort of dark blue with these white pulsing effects going on. Let's take a closer look at the app here on my trusty Lenovo tablet, and you can see that we have different themes. This one's in a piece, and it shows the range of colours that this theme is going to use in its pulsing animated display. This one's called Nemo, which I rather like. It's my corporate colours, orange and white, so I might use that one quite often. But yeah, that's an interesting one. We've got various ones to choose from here, and if we click on the Discover tab, then there are more that we can find. That Netflix and chill, that one says. I can't afford Netflix, so I won't be using that one much. Let's have a look what else we've got here. Oh, that's an interesting one. Triluminox Energy Crystal. Well, I'm gonna have to download that one, aren't I? With a name like that. So let's download that, and I shall select this device. It downloads, and it has already switched to it. Oops. and you can see it's a lot of purples and blues and things in that one, but yeah, that's this is a Triluminox energy crystal in action, a bit like the Tron Legacy one, but more purple, and well, that's all very whizzy. I like that. You can also use the app to adjust the brightness of the thing, and of course it doesn't have to be a colour changing pattern either. We can go into our basic whites, and we can have a warm white. We've also got an option there for reading light, which is a bit more subdued, and if you want something a bit brighter and starker, then we have a daylight mode as well. You know, I wonder if this could work as a dance floor for the cat or something. Quite enough of all that, it's not helping my hangover at all. But without further ado, let's have a look at the triangular version of this thing, which is just called Nanoleaf. So the squares are the Nanoleaf canvas, the triangles are just Nanoleaf panels, and this is the Rhythm edition. Both the triangles and the squares do sound alike, so we'll have a look at that a little bit later. Here are the triangular panels, so let's just turn the light back on here. Okay, and again there are connection pieces that go with these. We have these SIM card like connecting pieces, 4-pole this time instead of 3-pole. I'm just going to turn these off, this light off here, because it's affecting the camera a bit and we can't quite see it very well, can we? But it's 4-pole this time, so a different connection piece to the square panels, but they interlock in exactly the same sort of way as the square panels do. There we go, 9 panels in the triangular pack, both packs being expandable by the way, and we have this power supply interface which clips onto one of the triangle pieces here with buttons for powering on and off and for selecting the next pattern. While the square canvas panels have a master segment with the brains and microphone built in, the triangle version has this separate component called the Rhythm, which houses the microphone and has a button on it for the next sound to light pattern, and that can be plugged into any of the triangle segments. If desired, it doesn't matter where it goes, and we can just leave it out if you don't want that kind of functionality, I guess. But enough waffle, let's power on, and it's going to start with whatever pattern it was last using, which appears to be this colour burst pattern here. So we start off with a colour sort of in the central area, which then bursts out to the outer triangles of my rather unimaginative layout that I've got set out here. But I've only got 9 panels and I'm an electrician, not an artist, so what do you expect? Let's fire up the app again, and I can switch between my canvas or my triangular Nanoleaf setup, and I can choose basic static whites, or I can select a pattern, and we have the same sort of patterns again. Obviously we've got something fairly slow moving at the moment, but let's switch it from colour burst to one called Northern Lights, and we can see now that instead of there being a burst of colour in the middle spreading outwards, we now have a sweep of colour passing from one end to the other. And I must say the evenness of the colour on the panels is fantastic. There's no spotting or anything, it's a good even bright colour throughout. If we switch it to rhythm mode, there are different rhythm patterns we can select depending on our party mood. What I'll do is I'll switch them both to rhythm mode with pulse pop beats, I think, for the triangles. And for the canvas, let's go for rhythmic Northern Lights, shall we? Now, YouTube being YouTube, I've got to be careful what music I play here because I don't want any kind of copyright strikes or violations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my daughter's Yamaha Clavinova and stick on a drum beat, and we'll see how that looks and sounds. Well, that was jolly funky, was it not? Obviously you can set up your own layout designs, and each one of these panels must be individually addressable to the controller, as you can dynamically detach a panel and move it elsewhere within the layout. The controller knows the new location once you make a change like this, as does the app, which will show you the change of location, and the panel will quickly start displaying the pattern sequence in sympathy with its new placement in the layout, which is rather clever. I'm putting the square canvas panels up in my living room in place of this digital picture frame I made about 10 years ago out of an old laptop. It used to boot Linux from a USB drive and fire up a screensaver of charming family photographs. It worked really well too, to be fair, but sadly it has since died, so it's been taking up a prime bit of wall space for a while now without doing anything useful. The laptop power supply cord was buried in the wall there, so I'm going to pull that out to run in the new cable for the canvas panels. It's all low voltage DC, so no need to worry about zoning. A bit of filler and painting later will see the wall made good for a wire-free finish. The panels come with adhesive strips for attaching them to a wall. They're not going to work too well on brick, block, wood chip or uneven surfaces, but they stick pretty fast to a basic plastered wall. In fact, it's not very likely I'm going to be able to cleanly remove these after I've applied them, so it's best to work out your pattern and measurements first. You also need to ensure the connector pieces slot home between each panel as you put them on the wall, otherwise you'll fire it up and find one or more dead sections requiring removal to put right. I'm going for a random-ish pattern here to make it look like a piece of pixel art. Installation takes minutes and requires no specialist tools unless, like me, you want to knock holes in your wall to conceal the cable. The finished layout here kind of looks like the letter C, which was unintentional, and suggestions have already come in for what that might stand for. Yes, that's one. Thank you, that's another. Okay, that could be a couple of things depending on the value you want to use. Wait, what? That's a new one on me. Maybe a whole new swear word has been invented just for me. Let's go with Kosk, and we'll have it to mean Dick Spring. Marvellous. The app allows for patterns to be edited, so here the Tron pattern isn't working so well as it's moving from left to right, but by going into the editor I can change the direction to a vertical one for better effect. The pattern preferences are stored in the panels themselves, so I can cycle through the stored patterns without firing up my tablet, and it will remember my preferences for things like direction, speed and brightness. The canvas panels work well with the other RGB lights in the room. There's always a pattern sequence which complements whatever the other RGB lights are doing, and if there isn't, you can use the app to create your own custom colour or pattern sequences. Once again, let's try some sound to light action using my daughter's clavinova. For the triangle installation, I'm putting it into my office, so you can expect to see it in the background of future videos. I figure the sound to light might perhaps add a dimension to my attempts to get to grips with Fortnite, something I'm still struggling with like the silly old fool that I am. No need to hide the power cable in here, so installation will be even quicker and simpler. In fact, to demonstrate this, here's me coming 70th in a game of Fortnite, and I'll have this thing up on the wall before this game is even over. It's a basic design here, just a straight line with one element jutting off, and there it is up on the wall, and there's still 23 players alive in that game, so that's how quick and easy it is to install. Let's see the sound module reacting to some good old gunfire, shall we? You know, it's just a solo game I'm no good at. I can actually hold my own in a team rumble, but what the hell, you get the idea. It adds an extra splash of colour to my gaming experience, which is nice just before some complete Kosk blows my bloody block off. But you don't want to watch a video about me playing Fortnite badly, so let's move on. Obviously mine were from CEF, as I bought them from CEF Live, but they actually have them listed cheaper than Amazon. Links are in the description. You can also find them in issue 1 of the new CEF catalogue on page 1550, just before the index. And you know what? A couple of days later I put my 50 quid CEF Live voucher towards purchase of an expansion pack for each of mine, which gets me an additional 4 tiles for my canvas and 3 for the triangle arrangement. No upgrade to the power supplies are needed, as up to 30 panels are supported by the controller. Another thing to note is that there is some basic voice integration. I have mine working with my Amazon Echo Show, which allows me to turn on, off, set a specific colour or alter the brightness. It doesn't seem to let me change pattern, but that can be done via the app or via the button on the front of the thing. So that's the Nanoleaf, one of many such whizzy options out there in chavvy colour changing rainbow land, but quite a fun and effective decorative solution. Thanks for watching.